What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Spencer taking a look at my deck for this format, this new Kashtira format coming out. I don't know if Kashtira will be a tier 0 deck akin to Tier Lament. I highly doubt that, but it's going to be known for this, right? That's definitely going to be one of the main decks that people are playing. So I'm trying to find the deck that I'm going to play. Couple of cool things you'll see here in this first one. So my opponent hits me with Imperm. This is a combo deck that, depending on the hand, can play through a few hand traps. And a lot of extenders. So I play cards like Quick Launch, and like one of those cards that comes out from Quick Launch is Rocket Caliber. Few really interesting things about this card. So it's good with Quick Launch. It's a tuner, which is very unique, right? There's Borreload Savage Dragon, one of the best monsters you can summon out in this deck. But this card can also special summon itself to a zone, a dark monster .2. That's one thing. And also, it can tribute itself to summon a dark dragon or machine monster from your hand. So there's been times where I've had Basil ship in my hand. It's a dark machine. It's like insane synergy. This card is like, it's pretty good. It's like it's designed to work in this deck specifically. Lots of really cool interactions. Oh, also, this is Raider's Wing, but it always counts as a Phantom Knights card. So I've talked about in my videos before how this card is like not really a card you ever want to see in your hand because it's a level 3 and that's kind of awkward. You can use it though for Rusty Bardiche material. Jeez. So that's like the advantage, right? If you can get this out on the board, which is obviously searchable through everything, you can bring this out from the hand. So it's definitely a good way to circumvent that problem. Because what's actually pretty cool is in the extra deck, what you have is Raidraptor Satellite Cannon. So this card destroys all spells and traps, literally destroys back row decks. And I'm going to show you a duel where that happens. But it has to be used with Raidraptor monster as material. So sometimes you actually get a little bit of an advantage when you see this in your hand. Because normally you're going to use Force Strix to go into Rusty. And that's going to be the material. But in this case, I have this extender where I can use it with Rusty Bardiche, and that's actually pretty cool. That way, Satellite Canyon is like online. Alright, so here comes the second Imperm here. So I don't get to search my rank up spell. Alright, and then I'm going to attempt to summon back Basil. He's going to go for Bestial. So 2 Imperm and a Bestial. I can still make a play. I can actually still make a fairly decent kind of charge here. Especially considering 3 interruptions. I'm going to be able to put up a counter trap that negates spells and traps, and then a Time Thief Redoer. Right, and I can also, the cool thing is, well, I won't be able to use it. See, what I could do is actually, if I had attached material for Redoer, I think when it comes back, it can special summon to the zone, and I'm pretty sure that triggers Rusty. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if it counts as an inherent summon or what, though, during the end phase. So I don't know if it would actually trigger. Here comes the third Imperm. I'm going to go ahead and negate there. That way, Time Thief Redoer is online. He's going to normal summon Star Liege. I'm just going to go ahead and bounce it to the hand. A lot of times with Dragon Link, if you can just bounce their normal summon, it's actually like really, like hurts them like really badly. Because then, you know, they have like the baby dragons. Those require a dark monster in the graveyard. So if you just bounce it, you know, they kind of need Quick Launch or it's pretty bad. I'm going to keep attaching materials, and that's obviously the very much in the cool part. You know, this card really works really well against the Bestials. Like, you would think the Bestials hurt this because this is like an entire dark deck. That's the whole point of it. But, I mean, you saw it interrupted me a little bit, but usually you have so many extenders that it doesn't really matter. Like, you're almost always going to have one more, like, rank 4 in your hand by the end of your combos. Now, you could fit extra Dark 4 XYZ monsters, like there's the Evil Swarm monster, but, like, your end boards are going to be so good, like, it can't possibly be worth it, right? Like, I'd rather play Zeus instead of running another 4. Because the extra deck is actually really tight, and this doesn't have a great matchup against Cash, but you'll see, like, if you can put your end board up, like, your opponent, like, is going to lose. Like, the end board's really good against Kashtira. It is good against everybody, but so now I'm going to run through all of them. I just want to show that first one because I thought that was cool. My opponent disrupted me like 1,000 times, and I'll still be able to just put up a bunch of interruption, especially with Time Thief. It ends up making like almost always a 2 negate Zeus, two pop Zeus. Yeah, whenever you see Quick Launch, it's kind of insane. So again, like Basil is not really a card that you want to see, but if it's paired with Quick Launch, it's insane because then you can normal summon it, and then, you know, Basil by itself is equal to 2 level 4s. Almost every card in this deck is equal to 2 level 4s, right? Like Rocket Tracer's 2 level 4s, Basil's 2 level 4s, Strangolanius is 2 level 4s. Very good cards, and this is awesome. Like, I run 2 Time Thief Winder. One because, like, if you open the horse one, I don't even remember what it's called now, it has to summon 2 from the deck. So if you were to draw like Basil, which that's why it's kind of the worst draw. But if you draw the extra copy of Winder, it's like not so bad, because Winder's pretty cool. Just attach material from an XYZ monster, special summon it, and then you get to search the counter trap, which is fantastic, right? Just to protecting yourself from Dark Ruler No More. Now, Dark Ruler No More doesn't actually like kill you automatically, because you're gonna have a set rank up magic spell that your opponent activates Dark Ruler No More. It resolves. Okay, then you can pop it up and then give yourself Dark Requeim, which is 3 Psy-Frame Gear Gammas, which is insane. Non-once per chain Psy-Frame Gear Gammas. And so before, like, when I played this deck for a long time, there were like no good Dark 6 XYZ monsters. One of them is like a Dracula card, and it's like bad. But this card's actually really good, right? Quick effect, you can target a card in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it away. Now, if it had 2 materials, you get to set it, but obviously it's like kind of being cheated out a little bit, so it only has 1 material. But at least, like, Graveyard Interruption is obviously very good. And this was obviously, like, fantastic. And that's why I like to play Rocket Caliber. It's so versatile. I went over that. But, you know, you bring it out with Rocket Tracer. Like, before, when I was playing the deck before, like, I had no way. Like, very rarely could I keep a tuner on the field, because I usually had to use this for, like, material for a rank 4 body. But, you know, having this out gives you a little bit higher of a chance that when you see Rocket Tracer, you're going to be able to go into Borreload Savage Dragon. Right? You either want to, A, go into Borreload Savage Dragon or Infinity. Now, it's very special case scenarios. You can do both, okay? But a lot of the times, it's going to be either or. And that's your goal, right? Like, you want to be able to stop those evenly matches and all of those, like, Book of Eclipses, Torrential Tributes, like those kinds of cards. You know, like, having a shuffle back is great. Having monster negates is great. A shuffle back from the graveyard is always good. But if your opponent just has those power cards like Lightning Storm, like, you want to have that immediate answer. And that's where, like, the Omni negates come in. And luckily you also have cards like Time Thief Retrograde. And there's Book of Eclipse. Right? He thinks he's got me, but yeah, Time Thief Winder searched this earlier, and that just gives me a draw card. Like, one of the best counter traps, like, in the game. Like, not only does it stop my opponent, but it's either going to A, give me a draw, or it's B, going to give me a bounce. And it's a counter trap, too. It's not just a normal trap, and that also is huge. Alright, so my opponent's going to search, I think it's Palorino, whatever they call this card. All of them are so similar, but yeah, like, this card's crazy. Like, Dark Requiem destroys Kashtira. And actually, Wallow, like, is pretty darn good. So every card in your opponent's graveyard, so when it's sent, it gives you 100 attacks. So essentially, your monsters get huge boosts. So if there's any buff that's on the field, they essentially get canceled out. And if your opponent doesn't have them, like, your Time Thief Redoer becomes, like, impossible to run over. Yeah, Fenrir, he's going to try to special summon another body. That's fine, right? Just 3 Psy-Frames. He's going to go ahead and, I think, try to, like, send something, but that's fine. Like, milling in Kashtira doesn't really do anything at all. So if there's an effect that does that, you know, the only thing I'll stop is just the bodies coming onto the board. And that's all that really matters. But I wasn't even, like, done with all my interruption. I didn't even use Time Thief yet. And Time Thief is crazy against Kashtira, because they try to activate the one that specials from deck, right? They have to target the one on the field. You just shuffle it back, and they lose 2 cards. It's really good. Okay, let's just keep going through all these ones, because this is the most important matchup. This is a pretty darn good hand, right? I'm protected from, like, any hand trap. So all I have to do is Regulator, and then Regulator by itself is 6 interruptions. I think it's probably more than 6 interruptions, but about that. Right, because this brings out 2. Okay, so that goes into 4 Strix. Basil can, you know, shoot itself back. Now, I chose not to stop because normally if you can combo through, and I don't know, the more I think about it, like, my end board's just going to be much worse, but like, a lot of the times, if your opponent hand traps you and it doesn't stop you, there's no point in using Crossout, right? Like, save your Crossout for Dark Ruler or more. Save it for Nibiru, right, if your opponent has that too. You know, save it for that second hand trap. But I ended up having to like waste my Shade Brigadine, so my Time Thief Redoer is going to be significantly weaker, right? It just comes down to retrograde, just like having the counter trap. Like Time Thief just ends up being a body. Now, like the best case scenario, of course, is that the top card of your opponent's deck's like a trap card or something. Like that would be good, but you can't depend on that. So I have Cyber Dragon Infinity here. So that's good, right? You always want to have that Omni Negate like I've been talking about, and then Time Thief Redoer. So yeah, if I just hit Imperm like on my cross out, this would have been much better, but I have a lot of follow-up, right? This is like really good normal summon, and I'm going to be able to at least, pop a card on my opponent's field. So I'm just going to go ahead and obviously negate there with the Fenrir. He's going to normal summon there, and then I can just pop. Now, I don't get to use the effect, right? And that kind of sucks, but like that was me playing that really badly, and it was still like enough interaction to like stop my opponent's entire turn, and that was enough for lethal. So kind of cool. Like there like literally is like a little bit of cushion room in this deck, which is great. All right, so when you see this hand, like like you're definitely, it's gonna be very hard for you to lose. Yeah, so Regulator is obviously just like really, really good. Search the counter trap, and I have Effect Veiler too, but just have the extender and Parallel is 2 bodies by itself. And like this is one of those things where it's like, oh, maybe I should like even just run like a level 4 Dark Winged Beast tuner. I thought about that. Like it's kind of like adding another brick, and I don't even know if it's worth it, because like I don't know, like my end board's gonna be very, very good, obviously. So like, is it really worth it? I'm not sure. But if you were to bring out a tuner from the deck in this case scenario, I would have another access to Borreload Savage Dragon, meaning I could probably have it like 99% of the times. But that's very specific, and like the level 4 tuner would be bad to see in my hand. So I don't know. When I build this list, I don't go for the best end boards possible, right? Like there's all these Raidraptor lists that go into like calamities, but you have to run so many bricks with calamities. Your extra deck has like a much weaker, like I have a very versatile extra deck, you know what I mean? And calamities going second doesn't really do anything either. So I'll take the lower ceiling for higher consistency. But this is like good, and I always pretty much always do this, right? I just want to get rid of their field spell. I think they can only activate 1 per turn, so like I'm not going to see another one. So if you just start summoning out bodies, like, and there we go, Redoer obviously just shuffles that back, and I can just go ahead and negate there. I think I should have just let this go through, because I only have like 1 monster negate left with Requiem technically, but I'm going to go ahead and use Effect Veiler there, right? I want to save that Requiem negate if I can, because it's like significantly better. And my opponent had nothing else, Still like so much interruption. All right, let's go over just a couple more against Kashtira. Again, seeing Basil in the hand, but yeah, Basil plus quick launch is absolutely bananas. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab out Boot Sector launch. I don't even know if I use Tracer here. I feel like I shouldn't. I should have everything that I need, so I'm going to go ahead and special summon Tracer. Normal summon, no, because I want to bring that out. That makes sense. The cool thing about Tracer is that you would think like, oh, you can't use Parallel, it locks you into Darks, but no, it only locks you into special summoning Darks from the extra deck, so Parallel is still online. The only thing that locks you truly into Darks, like completely, is Strangulanius, and ideally you're not using that until way, way, way later. This, of course, is just going to be like the standard end board. And you'll see Kashtira can't really do anything about it. So there goes Borreload Savage Dragon. I can get my negate there. Mimicry can also search. But a lot of times, like, you'll have too many bodies, and you, like, won't even have anything to search off of Mimicry. But it's just always there in case, like, that's the only way. Like, that by itself gives you multiple bodies. You, like, have to run it. It's a decent normal summon, too, right? If you see it with quick launch, again, it's just one of those, like, really good combos. Okay, I just need 1 more 4. Like literally, I could also use Strangulanius to bring something else out, but I don't think it's very necessary, right? This is going to turn into Requiem, which is a pop. This is a shuffle back. This is an Omni Negate. Time 3 Redoer. And my opponent's going to go for the field spell. That's fine. Yeah. You can also shuffle this back, right? And that's always pretty good. And I done that in case like he didn't have anything, right? And again, I don't know that about that interaction. If Time Thief Redoer comes back, does it trigger Rusty? I'd be curious. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and negate there so he can't bring this out from the deck. And then I'm just going to start popping bodies, right? The only thing that's really going to do anything for him is if he can go into a rank 7. I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of that. I think this adds something back that doesn't really do anything. I think it adds back the 7. He can special summon it. Or he can stop it. He's going to mill 3, like I said, that doesn't really do anything at all. Plus, I already have a wallow, right? Another way to shuffle back. And again, just look how big these bodies are. He's like putting more guards in the graveyard, which is a very popular thing in Yu-Gi-Oh! And now like all of my monsters are like 3k attack minimum. Alright, this one is crazy. This is like one of the best replays that I have. So my hand's gas, which is great. Now you always think like this is like 1 card, 6 interruptions. You always want to start with Regulator. Because I do. I have another Time Thief Winder, so I could start there. But Tracer gives me access to Borreload Savage Dragon, and that's what I'm looking for. So I'm just going to go through the loop, right? Like you want to have something free to pop with Tracer. And the key is that Tracer has to pop a face-up card. If there was one duel I messed up where I thought that Tracer could pop any card that you control, but no, it has to be a face-up one. So there's Rocket Caliber. Okay, you can search, you know, one of my extenders here. Now, unfortunately, I don't think I can go into Borreload Savage Dragon here because I had to use both of those as 4s. The extenders in my hand required me to detach materials, which is kind of unfortunate, but at least I get to search the counter trap, right? Like no Dark Ruler no more, no Evenly Match is going to do anything against me. And that's kind of like what the purpose outside of Dark Ruler, right? When it comes to those Omni Negates, like you want to have those cards for those big statements. Dark Ruler is the only exception, but that's another reason why the counter trap is so good. But this is, of course, full combo. I'm going to have everything that I need. Now, I knew when I was doing this was a match, I knew I was playing Labrynth. So, in my mind, my goal, right, is to set up all my interruption. You know, Time Thief Redoer is good. Requiem is good because I can just pop a random back row card. Like, those are obviously, like, very good things. And then Requiem is pretty good too, right? Like they have the level 4 body. I don't know if this is good, although I think one of the traps, you know, banishes from graveyard and has some sort of like interruption. So definitely would have had some use. And what you're going to see here is Labrynth has access to really powerful cards. Now you would think against my deck, oh, I just expend all my resources. Okay, I'm obviously done for. But no, and this is where like, if my opponent knew about Raidraptors, of course, like he would have gotten rid of this 4-Strix. Because he's thinking, you know, oh, well, if he just goes into Satellite Cannon, I lose. But, like, 90% of players probably don't even know what Satellite Cannon is. Like, who knew that Raidraptor had access to a quick effect Raigeki during your opponent's turn? And despite getting Sphere moded, like, he's not going to be able to activate Punishment. Skill Drain's not doing nothing. Big Welcome Labrynth. Eradicator. None of that. It's not doing anything. And that's just really cool that that's even possible that I was able to play that. I top deck Nibiru. It's actually kind of works out because, like, I don't know how I'm getting over this Winged Dragon of Ra. Although I guess Arc Rebellion actually is an answer to that. It didn't matter, though. And here it is, Wallow. Yeah, just really cool. My opponent only has 6 cards in their graveyard, which actually isn't a lot. But that puts it up to 3,000. Nibiru's 3,600. And then Satellite is also obviously 3,600, too. So that's like that's a really fun one. Alright, so this is against Fluundereeze. And I'm just going to go through my end board. Like, the game crashes all the time. And I play Small World. And hopefully in one of these replays you see that too. But, like, this is, like, ubiquitously good. And this is obviously, like, super extended full combo. Like, when you start with Time Thief Regulator, oh my gosh. Like, it's unbelievable what you can do. So I have 2 Omni Negates, a counter trap. Like, this is just nuts. So I'm just going to keep everything in front of me. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop right. This has no effect on activation, so that's obviously just going to go away. He's going to go for Rabina. Of course, I'm just going to negate there. Yeah, like, Fluundereeze is not all that. You know what I mean? When it comes to, like, breaking boards, like, their power card is like, hopefully I opened up Shifter. I just have all these Omni Negates, right? There's just nothing you can do. Alright, so let's go over some of the other matchups, right? Those are some of the big ones, but this is against Naturia. I have a couple of matchups for those. So I wanted to get a taste of like, or test of like at least one of the decent decks of this format to compare it against. So I can, you know, normal summon. This is a little bit awkward. Like you want to be able to use Strangleanius' effect. I just don't think I'm going to be able to. And that's fine. Again, like you have so many extenders, it doesn't really matter. So I can detach Mimicry. And then I can just search it, right? Grab something else. This is going to search for me Raider's Wing, which is another extender, of course. And then I can detach there, right? Just want to get all those materials off the board. Go into Rusty. Activate Rusty, send Boots. Shade Brigadier is going to help me go into Time Thief Redoer. This is going to help me search the rank up magic spell. I usually, you know, go for Infinity here, which is great. You know, oh no, I think I may have Dark Locked myself. That's right. So Strangleanius did that really early. So this one was like a little bit weird too, right? But at least I had a hand trap. I do have the counter trap. Right, I could have gone for Dark Requeim because I do have this card, but I was thinking, well, you know, having a spell and trap counter is probably really good, and plus I like have something to bounce, so like that's probably just a little bit better of interruption. Plus I can pop something. I can turn it into something if I really want to, or I can turn this into something as well. Yeah, this has a pretty good matchup against Runic too, especially because I have the counter trap here. So I'm just go ahead and negate there. I can add this, right, so it helps me draw a card. He's going to try to pop there. I'm just going to go ahead and, you know, go into this monster. That way it's not wasted. You know, I could also, like, replace this with the one that's, like, unaffected by card effects, but this is just obviously, like, so significantly better. The other one's just, like, a big body that doesn't do anything. I'm going to go ahead and reduce his attack there. I was hoping that it would reduce it enough, and I don't think I chained this correctly. So this is a quick effect that your opponent loses attack based on the amount of Raidraptor cards you have in your graveyard. Now the funny thing is, this card says you can destroy as many special summon monsters on the field with attack less than or equal to. So I thought, well, if I detach that, it's going to have a low attack and it can't really destroy anything. But it was enough to destroy Rusty, but at least I still have Satellite Cannon. And this actually gets to come back too, and I can just kind of search a little bit of follow-up. And then I have Small World too if I really need to bridge something. I run a Bestial, so it's just kind of easy to get it all lined up. So I can turn those into Raider's Knight. Right, I could have just turned that into, you know, the Rebellion XYZ Dragon to end the game. It adds attack equal to all the monsters on the field. It's 3,000. I think itself is 25 plus another 24 plus another 22. Like that would have been enough for lethal. Card's great. It's kind of like that Utopia combo, double or nothing, a little bit. Let's look here. So these two cards are really good going second, right? I have Dark Roller and Harpie, so I'm feeling pretty good, especially because I know I'm playing Runic Naturia. This, I don't know. This deck I don't think is that great. Look at the one card he banishes. Like, I kind of have, like, so many cards that it just doesn't matter. Now, the worst thing would have been, like, a rank up magic spell, but it's Boots. Like, that's the card I want to send to the graveyard. But I still have Raider's Wing, so Rusty Bardiche can still send something to search, and that's obviously very good. He's just going to keep searching cards, and I was like, even if he goes into the Naturia Beast, I'm pretty sure it's called, the one that negates spells, at least I still have Dark Ruler, so he can't negate that, right? Can't be responded to by monster effects. He's going to go for Stardust. It's pretty cool, right? Just like getting advantage for your fusion monster. And then he goes for Chen Ying. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and activate, you know, Harpie's Feather Duster, so all these cards in his hand do nothing, and that's obviously very good. So these cards are just going to be stuck. Now, he gets to add that back, but, like, I'm good to go, right? Like, none of this else is an issue. So I can just, like, normal summon my best play starter, and then I'm off to the races. Especially with Quick Launch, so I'm definitely going to get that Omni Negate in there, too. Which helps because there's a big 3,000 attack body on the board, so Borreload Savage Dragon is going to be able to clear that, unfortunately. It doesn't really do anything, so I'm going to need to go full combo plus Quick Launch. Always a good feeling. Plus, I did hard open my Time Thief Retrograde, and that's... Oh, no, maybe I searched it. Never mind. It is a highly accessible card, especially when you have Small World too. Because you want to start with Regulator just because it's so good. You want to see that card as much as humanly possible. So I'm going to go ahead and rank up here. I actually think and I can go into Infinity this right. I have not locked myself at all. So instead of having to get over Chen Ying, I'm just going to grab it. I'm just going to use it as extra material. And that's fantastic. So I can go into Striker Dragon. And I think that he banished Boot Sector Launch. So yes, I just remember that. Like, I'm so stupid. It's one of my worst misplays. It's like I tried to go into the loop so that I could destroy Boot Sector Launch and bring out a tuner, but I ended up goofing it up. I couldn't even use Rocket Tracer, so I wasted my quick launch. And even after goofing around, I still have a pop, which is going to turn into 3 monster negates and an Omni negate. Plus, I can't use retrograde. So, yeah, because I messed that up so badly. Because, right, Rocket Tracer could have also brought me out of body. But even after all of that, I think this is still going to be enough, which is good. So he's going to go for the spell here. I'm just going to go ahead and negate. He's going to negate there. And then I'm just going to go ahead and pop this too, right? Just can't use the field spell. And then he's going to go for Mole Cricket. I can just negate there, of course. He's going to go for Dark Ruler No More. So we'll see what he ends up doing here. I don't know if he has any more copies of the field spell. Because I think I have one. He's going to grab this, but yeah, Runics lock you into the battle phase. Like, and this can't be used as link material either. Yeah, like I don't know if he was trying to go into access code talker. Yeah, Rusty cannot be used as link material. I thought that was kind of fun. It was like literally like the misplay Olympics right there. It's kind of terrible. Let's just keep going. This one is like really wild. So like I feel good, right? I have like all the extenders, like the Time Thief Regulator is obviously very good to see. So I'm gonna go for my normal combos. Now the unfortunate part is unless you open up Quick Launch and like full combo by itself other than Quick Launch, like you're never gonna be able to go into an Omni Negate before like Nibiru can hit. So that's kind of unfortunate, but that's why I play Crossout Designator. But if, like I said, if you actually do open up Quick Launch plus like some other independent way through the other cards around it, to like go into full combo, then you can actually on the 5th or the 4th summon make Borreload Savage Dragon. So it just kind of depends. Now my opponent had Nibiru, but hopefully my opponent continues to play. We'll see what ends up happening here. So he's going to go for Flashing Fire, and yes, he does. So he's going to go into Coral Dragon. He's going to bring out another one. So my opponent has Nibiru. Well, I have Nibiru too. And he's going to go for a Bestial there. I think he's going to get rid of 4 Strix, which is bizarre. Like, you think you get rid of Basil, because that could be a potential extender later on. And this hand looks like I should have something, but I just don't. Now, I kept thinking back and forth, is there anything that I could have done in order to make combo? Right, because if I normal summon Rocket... Oh. See, now that actually I can... Now that I think about this... I think if I normal summon Rocket Recharger, go into Striker Dragon pops. Striker Dragon can pop itself. Add back Recharger. Recharger's effect is sent to the graveyard to bring back. No, I'm trying to think of a way to, if I could get, like, if I didn't have Nibiru on the board, you know, I could like bring something back and then use reboot effect to bring back the Rocket Recharger in my graveyard, because he'll control 2 monsters. But I just don't think I can make it happen. It just feels like I have so many level 4 bodies on my hand. Like, I should be able to do this, but I'm just gonna normal summon Winder to search another card, right? I don't want to top deck it, so I might as well do a little bit of deck thinning to mathematically make myself have a better chance. Now he's going to search for a Runic card, and I think he's going to grab Flashing Fire. That way he can destroy my Nibiru. And then he's going to go for the battle phase. Oh, he can. I keep forgetting. Can't use it. It's Runic. So I have a Rocket Caliber here, which is great. Right? I'm going to be able to use Striker Dragon effect, grab back the Recharger, go into Boot Sector Launch. That way I can bring these 2 out. So it actually was a really good top deck. He has another Nibiru. I could have gone to the Borreload Savage Dragon, but I'm thinking, what is he gonna have? Another Nibiru? And yeah, he did. Like, oh, that's unbelievable. I don't think I've ever been in a duel where 3 Nibiru have been activated before. Oh, he banished his rank up magic, and that sucks really badly. So, like, I don't even... What I'm really going for at this point is, like, Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon. Although I should still have Soul Shave Force, I'm pretty sure. Nope, I don't have that either. He banished both. But, at the very least, I can now bring back, you know, some rocket monsters. But I think I brought back Caliber. And then I normal summoned a 4. So at least I have an Omni Negate, right? An Omni Negate in a very simplified game state can be a very good thing. And then eventually I could normal summon, you know, Silent Boots. And that's, like, obviously could be a very good thing as well. But I just thought that was a funny duel. Like, that's unbelievable how many cards I just went through there. Let's go ahead and go to Scareclaw. I'll skip through some of these. This is an incredible hand. This is a really good normal summon. Anything plus Quick Launch is incredible. It's insane. But if you see these combination of cards, like, you know you're gonna have something crazy here, right? Because I get to search the counter trap. I know I'm gonna have access to a tuner most likely. I don't. Oh, I want to say yes. That I sided out like Boot Sector Launch or something. Because I knew I was going second. I don't really remember what the context of this was, but I remember that I think I realized last second that I took that out. So the only reason I popped it itself because I couldn't go into it or something. I don't know. I don't remember what happened, but I'm gonna go ahead and banish here. I thought I was getting rid of all these going first cards. Like Boot Sector Launch, I consider a going first card, right? Because I can still use Quick Launch, and I can still use Rocket Tracer without. So, like, I think I gave myself one more hand trap, or like one more copy of Dark Ruler No More. But even through all of that, I'm still going to be able to put up a pretty decent board here. And I don't even think once I've used Stranglelania, it's like I literally just haven't had to, but this is pretty good. So I'm going to be able to go into Time Thief Redoer. So even after like a really messy start, I still have a pop, which turns into 3 monster negates. I still have the answer to Dark Ruler No More. I still have a shuffle back. Like, all of these things are very good. And Rusty's super good against Kashtira, right? Because it can only activate on a new chain. One thing that I've noticed is that you would think, like, maybe you should go for Fateful Adventure. Because, like, every turn he gives your opponent follow-up. But getting rid of the token is always, like, objectively the right choice. He's going to go for a Legal Knight. You know, that's fine. I think he's going to go into the... Link 3. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle that back, right? He's going to try to bring that back. No thank you. So I can still use these effects. And then they're going to get rid of the Rusty Bardiche because that's an out, to his monster. Any rank 4 can just pop this. I think it's only unaffected by defense position monsters. He's going to try to use Water Enchantress. I'm going to negate there, and that's obviously like huge. And I'm going to attach the top card. And I think all I have to do is activate Dark Ruler or more, right? I can just turn those into attack position. He's going to go for Fateful Adventure. He gets to grab Draco back. That's fine and dandy. But all I have to do, I don't even think I actually have to turn this into anything. I just need, like, the attack value because I'm going to go into Zeus, right? Just having that backup plan is obviously very good. I think I gone through Tracer already, so I think I just got that out of the deck. All right, so let's take a look at the materials here. I only have monsters. It's kind of unfortunate, so this isn't really doing anything. Other than being a body for the Omni Negate, right? Or the Spell and Trap Negate. He's going to go for the Field Spell, and then I'm probably just going to attach here. Right, that way I can at least draw a card. I'm probably going to use the effect right away, but he can't do anything. I still have Requiem too. And that's pretty darn decent. Okay, this is against Sprite. I think I have a couple of those. I think Sprite's still going to be pretty good. There's no doubt about that. And Small World is obviously just a really good kind of package. Now, what I've done recently is become smart. And what I did was I just added Druiswurm. So Druiswurm is an incredible bridge. It's just a dark bridge. That's all it's there for. It's a dark dragon with high stats. And everything in your main deck has low stats. So they never match up through attack or defense. And it's a dark, right? So I can just bridge any dark monster that I want to Time Thief Regulator. And that's obviously the goal. It's the best card. I actually didn't need boots, fortunately, right? Because I had the rank up Magic Force in my hand. Normally I want to search out, Shade Brigandine and the rank up, but Since I already opened it, that means I can just get rid of boots from my deck. And then for Rusty, I can just send wings instead. So this is like the showcase of like literally all you need is Time Thief Regulator. You don't need any other 4s in your hand. It's by itself is equal to the entire combo. It's got to be one of the best 1-card combos in Yu-Gi-Oh! It's got to be. I think in this case, I actually don't search the Mimicry because I don't have any other bodies to search for it. So, yep, I have to send Raider's Wing so I can go into Shade Brigadine. And this is really cool too. So, I'm going to go ahead and special summon here. I can, you know, bring something back. But I want to go into another rank 4 so I can just use Raider's Wing just to attach the monster, right? Because the only card that really matters is that Shade Brigadine. You know, you don't really care that there's a monster attached. Because the monster effect doesn't really do anything other than dodge. I grab a Nibble Beaver. He normal summons a Nibble Beaver, which is kind of funny. He's going to go for Sprite Starter. All I have to do is negate there. And then I'm going to forcibly pop, right? He's going to have to use red. This doesn't destroy it. Just negates the effect, so that's pretty cool. He's going to go for blue. I'm going to negate. He's going to go for Sprint. I'm going to negate. I still have Retrograde. Still have that, so that's obviously pretty decent. This is against Swordsoul, and I'll just show these last two. Look how ridiculous this hand is. Plus Ash. Pretty nice. So I'm going to normal summon Regulator. He's going to go for Ash Blossom. That's unfortunate, but yeah. It's actually not going to end up really doing much. Now, I don't think I get to go into Borreload Savage Dragon, which is unfortunate, but still going to be able to get everything else. So I can go ahead and use Boot Sector Launch. I can activate the effect. Tracer can go ahead and pop the field spell. It's an incredible loop for just having rank 4 bodies. And then, yeah, even through Ash, I'm going to be able to have an anti-Dark Ruler end board with like 6 interruptions. Seeing Time Thief Winder in your hand is actually like pretty good. It's like a really good 2-of in the deck. And then I have Parallel Exceed. I didn't need it, but it's just going to be the cherry on top. Although it probably also adds me like 1 more rank 4 body. I'm not sure though, because Strangolantis is going to be able to search me too. I don't even think I end up using Strangolantis here. So I'm going to search the Raider's Wing. I can attach Raider's Wing, right, to special summon. Then I can turn those into Rusty. Rusty can send me Boots. Shade Brigadine effect to special summon. You can use Soul Shave Force. That's always good. So I can go into Wallow. It's another, you know, decent form of interruption. So isn't that incredible? Like, even though my opponent has ashed my normal summon play starter, I still cannot, like, I don't have any bodies to go into for Strangolantis. That makes sense. That's pretty cool. That's how good Quick Launch is. It's just E-Telly for the deck. So I can attach the top card. It ends up being Emergence, which is really, really good. I'm going to negate, you know, the Pot of Desires. I think that makes sense. Right? I want to save this for the Dark Rulers. Yeah, and when you play against Swordsoul, definitely the move, just like with the Adventure Token, is to pop the token. Never the other card, right? Because the other warm cards in his hands would be pretty good. Yeah, this has a pretty decent matchup against Swordsoul. Well, at least when you're going first. Like, if you're going into the board, like, the blackout is, like, usually, like, really, really bad. He's going to go for Moyi here. I have double Quick Launch, so that's kind of interesting. I don't think he has anything, but I remember something in this duel happens that's really kind of decent. So he's going to go for Ash Blossom. I'm going to, you know, go ahead and negate there. And then I'm going to activate the Quick Launch and then pop the Quick Launch. And then he's going to go for Imperm there. So I'm going to go ahead and dodge that, right? So I can bring out Rocket Caliber, and that's pretty decent. So I do get to have both my bodies out. So he ended up kind of missing everything. Now I'm going to go for Force Tricks, and he also goes for Droplets. So I'm going to, you know, special summon the Strangolantis, and then I'm going to bring out a body. So at least now my Soul Shave Force is online, so I can go into a Wallow. And I thought that was just kind of decent, right? My opponent had Ash, like Imperm, Forbidden Droplets, all of that. And like even through all of those things, I was still able to kind of like make a really decent play, you know, through all of it and kind of like continue on. And when you have the right hands, that's like what makes this deck so good is A, your opponent like has probably no idea where to stop you, and then B, like the deck's also just kind of good. It like has like really good extenders. So if your opponent tries to stop you early, sometimes you can punish them heavily and essentially like guarantee that you win the duel. If your opponent double hand traps you and you're still able to put up a board, 99% of the time you're winning that duel. So that is my long look at the Raidraptor in the current format. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. Other than that, that's going to do it for today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.